Hello, friends, and welcome to Elements and Alchemy, the podcast. I'm your host, Kevin Johnson, sharing the astrological, lunar, and tarot influences for the week ahead of May 3rd through May 10th, 2019. So how's everyone holding up out there? It has been quite a week. I know personally, I've just been in it. Not in a bad way, but just in it. Like there's stuff that's coming up and it's like, you need to fix this before we move on. And I'm like, okay. And here we are. So, for anyone that follows me on Instagram and saw when I posted at the beginning of the week that there would be a new podcast episode on Wednesday, I was feeling Wednesday, but I thought that spirit meant for everybody. Apparently that was for me. So my apologies for anyone who was expecting the podcast to come out on Wednesday. I'm really, really sorry. But spirit had some lessons and some things for me to learn personally so that I can actually translate what's happening for you now. But yeah, this week it's been a rough week. It's been really intense. For a lot of folks that I know, because we've had, actually we just had like a lot of stuff going on. So like after, the third quarter square, which was, last Saturday, we had the third quarter square of the moon, which was, last Friday, third quarter square of the moon last Friday. And the energies of last Friday really, like I said last week in the podcast, they handed us our walking papers. Like we got our papers, we got our kind of like our get out of jail free card. And I don't want to say like this has been such a prison. It's been like, it's the lessons that we've been learning. Okay, we have completed the cycle, and that moon gave us the way forward. It showed us the way forward. It gave us the map. Okay, even though we can't see the whole picture yet, we have the map of where it is that we're starting from. And we know in our hearts, okay, our hearts create the rest of, it creates the rest of the landscape as we move forward as co-creators. Our heart space creates the rest of the landscape that we're going to be traversing over the next 7 or 8 years through this new Uranus cycle, new Chiron cycle that we're in. And we're really, really we're orienting ourselves to that new direction. Okay. And as we orient ourselves to that new direction, we are turning further and further and more away from what was old. Okay, we're turning more and more away from what was old. And I likened this, my friend and I were having a conversation, and because I just literally keep seeing turning. I keep seeing turn. And that energy to me, like what was coming up in my mind is if anyone has, like those salt shaker things with has like has the pour spout, and it has like the little holes, and then it has like a thing that it's to close it up. And it's like, we've been in kind of like that, the place with the little holes where like the energy's been kind of moving through, but not quite fully. And right now we're in that limbo space where we can't see that we're about to hit the pour spout. Okay, we're about to hit that pour spout where everything is flowing. Okay, we're seeing trickles now. We were seeing trickles, and everything seems to have kind of like slowed down and come to a halt. Okay, that energy of slowing down and coming to a halt, that's Saturn on the south node. Okay, it's like Saturn rules time and karma. Okay, Saturn is the structure of time. Saturn is the consequences of time. Okay, that's what Saturn rules for us. Okay, Saturn rules the structures and the consequences of time. Okay, and what happens when Saturn is already a heavy energy anyway? Saturn's a very physical, earthbound, solid energy. What happens when Saturn hits the south node, which is already a heavy space, and actually a space that Saturn rules, okay? If the south node is our karma, okay, and the consequences of our actions, which is karma, then that means that Saturn rules the South Node. So Saturn is in Capricorn in the sign that it rules on top of the South Node, which it also rules, okay? And that energy is like everything comes to a grinding halt, okay? So where we have been feeling, we've been feeling progressive and we've been making progress and, we've been seeing little inklings of this new life that's been coming into being. That's why that was that space of, the little holes in the salt shaker, okay, little holes, like that little section of holes. We weren't in the closed space, but we were in the little section of holes where you could kind of like sprinkle. It's like the sprinkle space. We could sprinkle. So we were in that sprinkle space and like we were feeling things move. Okay, we were finally beginning to feel things move because we've been in that closed space for so long. We got to the sprinkle space and we're starting to see like, oh, okay, like energy's moving, things are moving forward. I can move again. I can see what's ahead of me and things are flowing. And then all of a sudden it's like, what happened? But it's Saturn on the South Node turning. Okay, it's turning the spout. It's turning to the pore spout. Okay, so the new energies begin to flow out freely. Okay, but they're flowing in a contained way. I say this often, that Saturn's relationship to Earth, and Saturn as the ruler of Capricorn, who's opposite Cancer, and Cancer's a water sign. That relationship that Capricorn and Cancer actually have is the structuring of fluid movement. Okay, so there's something waiting to pour out of this pore spout, if you just stay with my metaphor here. There's something that's waiting to flow out of this pore spout. Saturn is structuring that flow. Okay, but before we can get to the pore spout phase, we need to be in this liminal space, okay, where we're coming out of sprinkle energy, okay, and there's going to be a full flow coming in hopefully soon. I don't really know when. I'm just saying hopefully soon because no one's told me. But anyway, so in this liminal space, it's also the transition from the old way, our old lessons, our old karmas, the things that we've completed, our old ways of being. It's a complete departure from that. And as we turn to the pore spout, we're also bringing in the new thing. Okay, so we're bringing in the new structure. We're bringing in the new foundations. We're bringing all of these things in. So that's that energy of Saturn on the South Node, and that's been feeling like really heavy. And like I said, everything feels like it kind of came to a grinding halt. And a lot of us have been dealing with just old shit, stuff that we thought we had moved past. Once we got to the sprinkle phase, when like energy started moving again and we're like, oh, thank God, like, everything can move again. And all of a sudden everything comes to a grinding halt and you're like, what, this bullshit again? But it's not really, it's not going to affect you in the same way. It's not going to affect us in the same way. It's bringing it to our awareness to show us how far we've come, to show us how far we've grown, and to just really clear out, just in case, because Pluto is still conjunct the South Node. So if there is any detritus left at the bottom of our root systems, at the bottom, we can't pour the foundation because that's what we're getting ready to do. We can't pour the foundation on top of some bullshit. So it's like everything came to a grinding halt as we turn toward the pore spout, and we're kind of being hit a bit, just triggered. Okay, we're being triggered in ways that kind of help us to remove anything else that's going to, that's going to compromise our new foundation. Okay, that's going to compromise this next leg of the journey that we're about to embark on. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. So that's really been the energy of this week. And on top of it, okay, so not only has that all been happening and Mercury it's doing its thing, and the moon was conjunct Chiron, and like we've kind of been in it. We've been in our feelings, we've been in some spaces, and really feeling doubtful because it was like the lights were on and then they just went off again, and we're like, what the fuck? What's happening? Like, why is everything going back? Why does it feel like it's going back to the way it was? It's not. Okay, it's not. Everything is really, really about to shift. It's just we're going from sprinkle to pour. And that's a really, really bad place to be. So it's making sure that we can handle the pouring, making sure that we can handle the pour. Okay. And on top of all of this, it's been dark moon. Okay. So we started into the dark moon period, Wednesday around like 6:45 in the evening or so, if you're on East Coast time in America. So we started in dark moon time, which is the three moonless nights that lead up to the new moon. And that's a time of rooting down and once again clearing out. Okay, clearing out. So that's why I was saying Saturn stationed retrograde on the south node. Everything is like all the lights went out because we're in dark moon time. This is like we're at that threshold and we have to guide ourselves through. Okay, we're guiding ourselves through because it's kind of like it's like that final test. Okay, it's like the final test where we're going forward, but we're trusting our hearts now. Okay, we're trusting our hearts. We were birthed with the Aries full moon, our consciousness, everything that we're holding dear for us, we've all been reborn as of the Aries full moon. Okay, and that was a month ago. So we've all had a month to reorient ourselves, consciously make new plans, like consciously, look at what it is that we want to do, make decisions about things that we want to change. Okay, we've been standing up, standing firm. Okay, our consciousness is becoming empowered. Okay, we've been empowered over these last 4 weeks. We've really stepping into our power. Okay, and as we do that, all right, we're learning to move from our heart space. Okay, so this, as we move into our power, and now we're in this dark moon time, we can't see anything, we're traveling. That is our beacon home. Okay, that's our beacon home, is our heart space. What is in our hearts? Okay, because as we take this journey of conscious co-creation, source or the universe or God or whomever, it doesn't go by what you think about. Okay, it doesn't go by what you're doing. Okay, it goes by what the contents of your heart. Okay, the contents of your heart. So as we begin this process of co-creation and we're at the threshold between like all of our old lessons and all the old things that we have, the old ways of learning. Okay, it's old ways of learning. We're about to embark on a new way of learning. And a new way of learning is kind of like, I feel like the lessons are being flipped around. It's kind of like the lessons, like a flip the script of the lessons. It's learning the lessons maybe in an easier way, in a way that isn't so painful. Okay, that's something that I've been grappling with. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I know that I've come to the end of like a lifetime, like several lifetimes of karmic lessons. And I'm kind of terrified because I'm like, oh God, more karmic lessons. But it's like, no, it's like you get to learn them and you get to experience these lessons in a new way. You get to experience these lessons in a less painful way because you've done the painful things already. You came through. And so for a lot of us, that's where we're at. But it's really like opening our hearts to understand that that's okay. And as we open our hearts to understand that that's okay, we are guided through this threshold point. Okay, we're guided through the threshold point during this dark moon time. So it's really, tonight, as I'm sitting here recording this on Friday, it's really about opening our hearts. This is the last evening of the dark moon before the new moon tomorrow evening. So it's really about being in your heart space, knowing what is true, okay, knowing what's true in your heart, and not being afraid of what comes next, okay, because we've already done so much of the hard stuff. Okay, so it's not being afraid of what comes next. And I'm not saying that everything that comes next is going to be like a cakewalk. But what I am saying is that we are strong enough, we're empowered enough, and we're co-creating. Okay, so this is us kind of opening our hearts to the process of co-creation during this dark moon time. Okay, and the dark moon, I don't usually like talk too much about the dark moon. That's not true, but the dark moon is actually ruled by Lilith. Okay, and I do mention Lilith periodically, not all the time, because Lilith just kind of like chills in the cut, like, you know, and sometimes it's like, speak on me, and then sometimes it's like, don't bother, it's okay. But what I do find very interesting right now is that Lilith, and this is the black moon apogee, not the asteroid Lilith. Okay, they represent two different things. So black moon Lilith, okay, who rules the dark moon phase. Black moon Lilith is currently on the 29th degree of Aquarius. Okay, and if you've listened to the podcast, you know, since the beginning, you will know that in my interpretation, Aquarius is the blueprint. Okay, Aquarius rules our ideals. Aquarius rules, you know, the best that humanity can do. Okay, rules technologies, things of that sort. So it's like I see it as a blueprint. Okay, what is our highest ideal? What is our highest wish for ourselves and the rest of the people that we live with on the planet? What is the highest ideal? Okay, and being ruled by Uranus, Uranus is our highest intelligence. Okay, so it's like this intelligent framework. Okay, that's what I consider Aquarius to be. It's like the intelligent framework, all right, that the universe and our bodies and everything in creation runs on. Okay, so when we were in Aquarius season, I talked a lot about our blueprint. Okay, our blueprint, which then turned into this dream that we are about to manifest, or about to begin manifesting very, very soon. So I feel like Black Moon Lilith on the 29th degree, as Saturn stations to go retrograde on the South Node, conjunct Pluto during the dark moon time, it's like I was saying before, it's like lights out. Okay, lights out. Let's root down. Okay, root down with our hearts. Okay, root down with our hearts. All right, and find anything that does not support your vision. Okay? Anything that does not support your vision needs to go. Lilith is about truth. Okay, Lilith is about the truth. All right, that's what Lilith rules. Lilith rules truth. Okay, and the truth is what you find in the dark. Okay, the things that are hidden. Okay, it's in the darkness. Okay, in our subconscious mind, in our unconscious mind, are some of our most powerful truths that we don't bring to light. Okay, that's what Lilith rules. All right, and it's like we've done so much excavating and so much work, and we really are done. Okay, but like I said, it's a matter of getting down to that like baseline, super baseline. And Lilith is on that 29th degree during this dark moon time, while Saturn is not moving in the sky on top of the South Node, conjunct Pluto. Are you aligned? Is there anything false still sitting here? Okay, because we've gotten our papers, we've gotten our map, we're ready to go, and this is a journey of the heart. So this is like, put in the true framework, set up the true framework, okay, and take out anything that is going to mess up the foundation that we're about to build. Okay, so that has basically been this last week. So just for a recap, in case you were, crying in the corner and trying to figure out what the fuck was going on, that's basically what's been happening. So that leads us all into today. Okay, and today is Friday, May 3rd, and the moon is in Aries. Okay, the moon was in Aries most of the day, and sextiles Mars. Okay, so moon in Aries, sextile Mars in Gemini. Sextiles are opportunity aspects. Okay, so it's something that you can take it or leave it. Okay, it's a pleasant invitation. I always say that. It feels good. It's like a good energy. Okay, so the moon in Aries, that's our emotional will. It's like how we want to, it's kind of like the drive, that emotional drive to express. Okay, like we want to, I don't want to say express, but it's our mode. It's like how our emotions motivate us, if that makes sense. Okay, it's like emotional motivation. Okay, and Mars in Gemini has been, really, really kind of chilling. All right, Mars has been in Gemini, just chilling. Okay, we've been doing some stuff. Okay, and maybe some of us have had had the words that we needed to have and said the things that we've needed to say. Maybe those things have been happening. Mars in Gemini, it's the hard talks. Okay, it's the hard talks. It's the cutting realizations. It's that kind of thing. But also, I've been feeling, though, that Mars, more or less in Gemini, has been really about choices and the choice on how to use our will. Okay, the choice on how we want to act. Okay, Mars rules our actions, and it's like choosing the way forward, choosing how we're going to act. So I feel like the sextile is really a chance to align ourselves. Okay, align that emotional motivation, because a lot of times when we are in an emotional state, and especially moon in Aries, it emotionally does not think about anybody else. Okay, that's not what it's doing. It's not thinking about other people, moon in Aries. No. Okay, because it's that instantaneous emotional gratification. All right, because it's this is what I want. This is how I feel. This is how I want, or this is what I want. And moon in Aries can kind of just totally dismiss other people and their feelings. Okay, and I feel like the sextile is really about choosing how we respond emotionally. Okay, it's choosing to do things differently. Okay, because we now have this map. Okay, we have this map. We're in dark moon phase. Okay, we're getting triggered. Are we going to respond in the same ways that we used to? That's really what that's what it feels like. Are we going to respond in hair trigger ways? Are we going to just react? Are we just going to react to these triggers? Or are we going to take a step back and see that we've grown and make a different choice? Okay, so that's what I feel like that moon in Aries sextile Mars in Gemini is really asking us to make more emotionally responsive choices. Okay, we're being triggered right now. A lot of us are terrified. Like I said, the lights went out and we're going from a sprinkle to a pour, and we can feel what's happening, and we're moving through the darkness, and all we have are our hearts to guide us, and the shit's scary as fuck. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, it's scary, and there puts a lot of doubt in your mind about what it is you're doing and where it is you're going, and what shit, I just let go of this shit, and you mean to tell me now what? Yeah, no, it's okay. This, I feel like that aspect is really asking us to choose a different response. Choose to respond differently because we've grown. Okay, we've grown, and we can't embark on this new journey acting the way we used to act. And not that it was terrible, but we've grown up. we've grown and matured and we've come through these lessons. So it's like these things, even though we are triggered right now, we need to be able to put them in their place. Okay. And that's what that feels like. The moon in Aries is also going to trine Jupiter in Sagittarius. So that to me is that energy of like, okay, this is your emotional motivation, your emotional will, okay, to be gratified, okay, or to respond to something, okay, to respond to your triggers, okay, because like I said, we're getting triggered right now. So this is about responding to our triggers, okay, and Jupiter in Sagittarius is about faith. Okay, Jupiter in Sag is about faith. Jupiter in Sag is about, our higher selves, our higher consciousness. This aspect is supporting. Okay, it's supporting the moon sextile to Mars. Okay, it's supporting by giving us the faith to choose to respond differently. Okay, giving us the faith in ourselves that we can get through this. Okay, we've done it before. All right. The faith that there's something new on the other side of this. And also reminding us of our maturity. Okay, reminding us of our maturity, reminding us of how far we've come, and that we don't need to react in the same ways that we used to. We have the choice to respond differently. Okay, so that's what that moon trine Jupiter, it's like we gain a bit of emotional maturity and come into a point of emotional truth. It's like, oh, I can respond instead of react. I'm going to choose a different response to this trigger. I'm going to choose a different response to this thing. And I'm going to have faith that where I'm going is the right direction for me. I don't have to fall back into the same patterns, because when we get triggered and tripped and we react, it literally just takes us right back to where we were. Okay. And we're done with that. We have really busted up that framework. Okay. And that's what Lilith is on the 29th degree doing, busting up the framework. Okay. So while we're in the dark, Sprinkle Town is like kind of like going away, and our old lessons, the framework that housed our old lessons is being dismantled, and the new framework is coming into place. Okay, that's what they're showing me. It's like this old framework is being dismantled. That's Lilith on the 29th degree of Aquarius during this dark moon time, and the new framework for the new lesson, the new path forward. Okay, that's coming into being now. Okay, and like I said before, that it gets filled in with what's in our hearts, with the desires of our hearts. So that's why it's very important to be clear about what it is that you truly want, where it is that you want to go, and remain as open as possible. All right, I'm gonna shut up about that now. And the moon in Aries also squares Pluto. Okay, so while the moon is, trining Jupiter, it's also, not trining Jupiter, excuse me. Yeah, no, that's right. Yeah, it's also squaring Pluto. Okay, and the moon squaring Pluto is not comfortable. Okay, it's not a comfortable aspect. It does not feel very good. Okay, so that's our emotional will. Okay, coming up against the roots of our personal power. Okay, so this just harkens back to, are we going to react or are we going to respond? Right, we're making different choices based on our maturity and based on faith. Okay, so we're making different choices, and Pluto in this mix is like that trigger rub that's like, okay, like this is an affront to your personal power. How are you going to respond? Like that's what I feel like Pluto is doing, especially like with all the South Node activity. And like I said, lights out, we're being triggered, and old things are coming at us. Okay, old things are coming at us for us to see. Okay, not the universe. They already know what we're capable of. Okay, it's for us to see, for us to use our free will to make different choices. Okay, so as we move ahead, so Pluto square the moon today is the trigger that trips the choice that we have to make between reaction and response. Okay, and it's okay if you react, we all have to have our moment, but hopefully bring yourself back down if you've kind of had that today and you're just kind of like, what the fuck, and you're kind of breaking down and doing your thing, let it happen. Okay, don't leave that in your body. Okay, don't leave that in yourself. But also remember that you have the capacity to, after you calm yourself down, make a different choice. Okay, and see this for what it is, which is, it's kind of like a little test for yourself. All right. Then we have the moon is going to move into Taurus later tonight. And when the moon moves into Taurus, it's going to conjunct Uranus. Okay. And moon conjunct Uranus is, especially after, coming off of this choice about being more emotionally responsive. Okay. And not letting our emotions get the better of us because we feel disempowered, and understanding our growth and our maturity and having faith in our vision and in the dream that we are holding. Okay. The meeting with Uranus and Taurus is literally busting up the ground. Okay. It's like breaking ground, breaking all of the old foundational, I shouldn't say foundational, but just breaking up. Taurus rules pastures and fertile fields. Okay, so it's literally Uranus is just breaking up soil, breaking up the ground, earthquakes, things that open the ground. Okay, so now what this is saying to me is that we have this chance to ground down and in to this new emotional responsive. We have a chance to root this in. Okay, we have a chance to plant this seed. Okay, for emotional responsiveness, new responses, and Uranus will free us. Okay, because Uranus is about liberation. Okay, will free us from the old way of being. Okay, because Uranus is about to have a lot of activity this week, and a lot of that activity is it's completely liberating us. Okay, completely liberating us now that the sun is in Taurus. Everything is kind of okay, it's on. All right, and we're starting to get liberated, okay, from a lot of things. So I feel like that's a liberation in a sense for us emotionally of, and coming into a more grounded space. Okay, because Taurus doesn't like to be disturbed in those ways. Moon in Taurus is a very, very, it's the moon of our emotional resources. So it's what we have at our disposal emotionally to share and give with another. Okay. But it's also it's a very calm and placid moon. Okay. So it is a more responsive moon, whereas Aries is a more willful, reactive moon. Taurus is a more responsive moon. It reflects before it acts. It doesn't really want to act sometimes. Okay, let me just be really honest. Sometimes it just doesn't want to do anything. But I think that coming in off of those lessons in Aries, I feel like the moon is going to be very much aware of what resources that it has. It's going to make us aware of what emotional resources that we have at our disposal to be able to respond. Okay, because we get reactive a lot of times when we feel disempowered and we don't know what to do. We don't have the tools to respond. This moon in Taurus meeting with Uranus is liberating us from that old BS story that we don't have what we need to respond effectively. Okay, we do. Okay, and it's rooting us down into, okay, we have this emotional maturity and this is the faith. Okay, this is the faith that we need. It's also that meeting is really putting, like Uranus is like, really, really, like I said, opening the ground in Taurus, but opening the ground with the vision. Okay, Uranus rules Aquarius, and I said Aquarius is like the overarching framework and vision that, that we're building our foundations on. Uranus is in Taurus, like really making that a tangible thing, bringing that vision down into reality. Taurus is about reality. So it's like, not only are we realizing that we have tools at our disposal to respond and react to respond differently, okay, to move through our emotional spaces in a different way. We're also realizing, really coming into an emotional connection with this framework that's coming into being. Okay, so we're building an emotional connection from a new space. Okay, and we're able to respond to it. All right, hope that makes sense. Okay, and Mercury today is sextiling Jupiter. Okay, so Mercury sextile Jupiter is, and this is the moon also met with Mercury as well. So this is kind of like all like this kind of 1-2, but like I said, it happens for each of us in a different way sometimes. Sometimes we feel it all as one thing, and other times it's just like one thing is glaring out of like a myriad of aspects. So that's why I do it this way. But Mercury sextiling Jupiter, as the moon goes through, its lesson in Aries, okay, because this was the moon's lesson in Aries of emotional responsiveness, okay, the moon meets with Mercury, and we understand, okay, because Mercury rules Gemini, okay, Mars is in Gemini, okay, so the moon had to make a different decision, okay, which is what Mars is different decision on how to act, okay, and that really, because Mars is in Mercury's sign and Mercury is in Mars's sign, they have, it's called mutual reception, so they have like this kind of telepathic relationship, all right, if that makes any sense. They have this telepathic relationship where they really get each other, and they understand what the other is feeling and what the other is, what the other planet is learning, in each other's signs. Okay, so Mercury in that whole mix is really aligning our thought processes. Okay, aligning our thought processes with, okay, I'm making a different choice now. Okay, I'm making a choice to respond. Okay, and when Mercury sextiles, why did I say sextile? I didn't mean to say that. I meant Mercury's trining Jupiter. So when Mercury trines Jupiter, it's like that higher, like that faith. Okay, our minds line up with our faith. Okay, so we have faith in this process. We have faith in where we're going. Okay, and we can really, really mentally see and understand where we are. Okay, and why it is that we need to make different choices. Okay, why do we need to make different choices? Where are we now? So it's like Mercury being an aspect to all of these things as this is happening with the moon is really helping us to intellectualize. Okay, the moon's helping us internalize it. Mercury's helping us to intellectualize it. Okay, and really come into a mental understanding of how it is that we need to be, from here on out. Okay, and how we need to keep holding our faith and not letting our minds get the best of us, not letting our minds overrun us, okay, not letting our emotions overrun us, okay, but just trying to stay in that space of making the best choice for where we are, okay, eyes wide open, and making a choice out of faith, and making a choice from our highest self, from the highest good, okay, that's what this is about. Okay, and then Mercury is going to square Pluto. Okay, and when Mercury squares Pluto, that's not pleasant either. Okay, because like just like with the moon, it's like that was Mercury squaring the moon was like that emotional trigger. Okay, when Mercury squares Pluto, not only have we had that emotional trigger, but we're also getting mentally triggered. Okay, so our mental processes try to go back to what they used to do. Okay, so we have that, it's like that, it's a cycle, it's a pattern. We get triggered emotionally and we do this. Okay, and it spirals our thoughts, and then we do whatever. Okay, this today is about making different choices, realigning our minds with our empowerment, with our higher self, with our faith. Okay, aligning emotions and mind in this way so that then we, like I said, we make different choices. We choose to respond differently. Okay, and like I said, we're getting triggered. This is dark moon time. I'm kind of going over this because it's important. It's really important that we understand that we need to act differently now. Our responses need to be different to the triggers, to our old triggers. It's how we get through this. Okay, it's how we get through. All right? And it's how we know that we have grown. All right? If you're a grown up still acting like you're two, it's not cute. Okay, and that's kind of what this is. It's like, okay, you've grown. Here are your triggers. Do you trust? Do you have faith? Do you have faith in this process? You've seen this before, and you know how this shit goes down when you start to lose your mind about it. What are you going to do? Okay, and then the way out isn't quite here yet because we're in dark moon time, but it's going to make itself known soon. Okay, so next up, Saturday. Tomorrow, really it's a quiet day. It's a quiet day. Moon is in Taurus, and the moon is going to be in Taurus all day long, and it's going to conjunct the sun for the new moon. Okay, that's really the only like major aspect we have tomorrow, which is it's just the new moon, and that's lovely. Okay. And the new moon, I feel like this is actually the start of Taurus season. Okay, I'm of like a lot of times energetically for me, when I feel the energy, it's like even though we can be in a season for a while, sometimes the energy doesn't get activated. It doesn't get activated in like I can feel it. It doesn't get activated till the new moon comes, and this time, I feel like this has been very, very true. I feel like we've been in Taurus season, sun being in Taurus for the last 2 weeks, almost. And it's been, you can feel some Taurus shifting, especially with Uranus being there. But I feel like we're really going to come into that growth stage of Taurus. I feel like we've been doing like a lot of like the groundwork, like that very slow, methodical groundwork, the things that you don't see, like the how the seed breaks, how the sprout breaks through the seed under the ground, and you don't see that. That's what I feel like this has been. It's been a lot of that. Okay, we've been doing some work, we've been doing a lot of work, but we haven't seen any kind of real result just yet. And I feel like when the moon meets with the sun tomorrow, that is when we're going to start. It starts the process of us seeing the fruits of our labor. Okay, the fruits of our work. Okay, what it is. And I don't want to say fruits necessarily. I should say growth, because Virgo is more like the harvest and the fruits of your labor. This is where we're going to start to see growth. Okay, this is where we're going to start to see the shoots coming up out of the ground finally. Okay, we're going to start to see that the seeds that we planted are actually fucking growing, okay? Because this is really, like, this is what Jupiter has been over there, like, have faith, have faith, have faith. Have faith that your seeds are growing. Have faith that your seeds are growing. And we're like, but it's dark, and I don't know, and I can't see. And this is, like, literally the lights come back on, and we can see what's growing. Okay, we can see what's been growing underneath, okay? And with Saturn being on the South Node and Pluto being conjunct the South Node in Saturn, this could be us seeing, now that the old phase is like really, the old lessons are dying out, it's us seeing the lessons for what they were. Okay, seeing the lessons for what they were, really seeing the root of the lesson, seeing underneath the lesson. Okay. And then, on the flip side, like seeing the new growth that lesson has brought us. Okay. Seeing the new growth, the new lesson, the new framework, starting to see that come into being. Okay. So this is where all of our faith has paid off. Okay. And this is where I keep saying, if you've been listening for a while, you've heard me say for the last few weeks that I don't feel like Saturn and Pluto on the South Node is necessarily going to be such a bad thing. Like, if you've been doing some shit, it ain't going to be great for you. But I do think that it's going to be a matter of us seeing things that perhaps we didn't get before. Okay, and having those things come to us now for our growth in this phase. Maybe they were held back before because we weren't ready in our last cycle of growth. We weren't ready for them. So we've put in a lot of effort. Okay, we've put in a lot of effort and we've toiled and we've worked and we've struggled. That's what Taurus is about. Taurus is about effort and work and, putting in, your due diligence, okay? And really, really seeing something through to the end. That's Taurus energy. Okay. And we've done all of that. And maybe we didn't see we didn't see any evidence of our effort. Okay. We didn't see any growth. And I feel like this new moon is tripping not only our new cycle of growth, okay, and the growth of this dream that we've been carrying. Okay. Because like I said, we were born into this new, like we were reborn into this consciousness like a month ago, and now it's like our lives are being reborn into this consciousness. Okay, it's like this is the rebirth of our life, okay, of what it is that we live within, what it is that we work within, and this is what we start to build here. Okay, so Taurus is also like this new moon is also bringing in any gifts that were perhaps saved for us. I want to put it that way. Karmic gifts that were saved for us. All right. So things that, like I said, we put in effort and, we worked for and we didn't see the results from. I think that those things we're going to start seeing those things come through for us now. Okay. And some of it might even be like from lifetimes ago and you don't even know where it's coming from. You don't know why it's there, but it's a blessing and it's beautiful. So I feel like that's what this Taurus new moon is starting. It is starting the new cycle. It is starting the cycle of seeing growth. Okay, it's a new growth cycle that we're starting. Okay, and really just the rewards of having faith. The rewards of having faith and putting in the effort and doing the work. Okay, this is kind of like starting to see that growth, and that's what I feel like this new moon in Taurus is really, really about, starting to see that growth. And like I said, seeing underneath, seeing the lessons, the old lessons for what they were, and seeing the reasons for them and seeing what was behind them and underneath them. Okay, really coming into a sense of this is our new reality. Taurus is about reality. Okay, what's real, what's tangible, like what can I take to the bank? All right, that's Taurus. And this is like new moon in Taurus is the birth of our new reality. Okay, we got birthed, like I said before, in Aries in the new moon last month. This is the birth of our new reality and all that comes with it. Okay, and it's that birth, it's a journey. So it's not all going to plop down in front of us at once. Taurus never works like that anyway. Okay, this is like a slow build. But the new reality is coming up. It's coming into being. So everybody get ready and get excited. All right. Sunday, the 5th, the moon will still be in Taurus. Okay. And the moon will sextile Neptune. Okay. And when the moon sextiles Neptune, it's an opportunity because like now the moon is this like our emotional resources, okay, have meshed with our consciousness, okay, in Taurus. That was the new moon, and it's birthing, okay, it's birthing our new reality, okay. And the sextile to Neptune, like, so now the moon has moved on from that birth process, okay, or triggered that birth process, I should say. And the moon is moving on, and now we have this sense of like what it is that we're working with, okay, because it feels really good. It's like, it's like having the faith that you have these resources, but not really knowing that you have them, okay? But it's like beginning the process, like our moon, our emotions, like we know what we have to work with, but this is like being able to put that to practical use, okay? And this is like that sextile with Neptune is like this alignment with that, okay? It's like bringing in the soul for this new reality, okay? And really showing us what we have and how we can use our emotional resources practically in our, and pull in the soul to bring this reality to life. Okay. Sorry, I'm stumbling over my words here, but that's that sextile to Neptune, moon sextile Neptune. It's a really pleasant aspect. It's an opportunity for us to really get into the soul of what it is that we are birthing, to this reality that we're birthing now. Okay, and the moon is going to also sextile the north node. Okay, so it's sextiling the north node, which means that it's an opportunity for us to see the way forward. Okay, and that's what I was saying about like this soul, the moon touching the soul. And this is also very simultaneous because the nodes are almost exactly trine Neptune. So it's almost an exact aspect in that it's really pulling that focus. Okay, so the moon in Taurus is like our emotional resources, like I said, and really us coming into an understanding on a soul level of how we can support this new reality. Okay, how we can support this new reality. All right, on a soul level, we have that understanding. But then it's an opportunity for us to orient ourselves. Okay, orient ourselves towards home. Okay, orient ourselves towards home inside. Okay, like I said, we've got our maps. Okay, we've got our building plans, we've got everything that we need to start to bring this reality up and into fruition, to care for it. Okay, it's coming up. Okay, this is us orienting ourselves towards that process of making that home inside. Okay, this reality is the home that we need to cultivate inside of us. Okay, it's the home that we need to cultivate inside so that then it can show up outside, because like I said, what's in your heart, what resonates in your heart, this is that lesson of Venus and the 2 full moons that we had, changing the resonance of our heart to match our soul's purpose and our soul's highest good. Okay, changing that resonance. So this is about allowing our heart space, allowing our emotional space, I should say, to resonate with this new reality on a soul level, and allowing that to orient us toward what is home inside, so that resonance will create what is home outside of us and help to grow this reality, because we're growing home. Okay, we are growing our external home from what we know inside is home. Okay, hope that made sense. The moon is also going to trine the south node and Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn. Okay, so this trine from the moon, like I said, our emotional resources, connecting with home and connecting with our soul. So we're understanding on a soul level what our security needs are, how we can secure this. How do we secure this new reality? How do we secure it within ourselves? Okay, make it base camp. All right. And then the trine to the south node, Saturn and Pluto. This I feel like is really, it's one of those moments where you kind of see the gifts of the past start to trickle in. Okay, it's an opportunity for us to really gather the emotional resources that we need, the emotional power, okay, and what we need from the past, okay, to help us build this foundation, because this is about the foundation now. All right. And this is what I feel like, now that we have this understanding, like I said, on the soul level of what is home and building base camp, this is like, let's start putting in the new emotional foundations that we need for this new reality. All right, let's start. So this is about emotion, putting in new emotional foundations for the new reality that is growing. All right, and coming into being. All right, and then we have Mars in Gemini. It's going to be opposite Jupiter in Sag, okay? And oppositions are, it's a seesaw kind of energy, because it's like it's mirroring is what I want to say. It's a mirroring energy, okay? You do too much on one side, it takes you back to the other side. What you want to do with opposition is you want to find the point of common ground, okay? You want to find the point of common ground. And the common ground with Gemini and Sagittarius is really, it's like, I feel like Gemini asks the questions, Jupiter supplies the answers. Okay, so it's really about it's about truth in a sense. Like Gemini wants to know the truth, Sagittarius has the truth. All right, so that's how I feel like, that's what I feel like their common ground is wanting to know the truth. Okay, and the truth for each of them is different. Okay, so Gemini's truth is usually, it's a more, it's very subjective. Excuse me, very objective. Okay, it's a very objective truth. Like anything can be the truth. It just depends on how they feel that day. Because they see both sides of everything. Okay, like Gemini energy sees both sides of everything, and it sees how if you spin something a certain way, yes, it can be the truth. Okay, and that's true. If you spin anything a certain way, it can be the truth. Or even if you don't, just depends on your perception. Okay, Sagittarius is a more subjective truth. Okay, it's the truth that, is kind of universal laws. It's the truth that like shit actually runs on. Okay, so that can't be like, oh, well, looks like gray to me. Like it can't be that. Okay, it can't be that, because that's not how this works. Okay, there are certain truths that we build foundations upon. Okay, and Sagittarius represents those truths. So Mars opposite Jupiter, okay, I feel like this could be a time of, like I was saying before, if you haven't said your piece, if you've been holding back on some stuff, because I feel like, we've been talking a lot about like needing to say things, especially with Mars in Gemini and Mercury being in Aries. Like there's stuff that we've been thinking about. We've been making decisions about how to respond, and what way we should go, what decisions, like we're just making a lot of decisions about how we do things, and a lot of the time it hasn't quite been right yet, I feel. But I feel like Mars opposite Jupiter is really gonna bring in truth. Okay, that's what I feel like. Mars is asking questions, Jupiter's gonna bring the answers, because they both are looking for the truth. Okay, so I feel like if there's anything that has been out of alignment, okay, and that's why I was saying, like with all the South Node activity and, really looking up under the foundations, I feel like Friday, with the moon and Mercury, like those, what am I trying to say? Aspects to Jupiter, aspects to Mars. I feel like these are the prequel to Sunday and Monday's action. Okay, so however you may have gotten triggered on Friday, okay, there is a truth in there. Okay, and it might not be a bad truth. Okay, but it's a truth in there that you need to see, okay, in order to help you move forward. Okay, there's a truth, there's an action that you need to take. There's a truth that you need to see. There's a conversation that needs to be had. Okay, something needs to happen to align us with truth. All right, now it's going to play out differently for each one of us depending on what it is that we need. Okay, but there's some kind of action that we're, I believe, finally going to take, and it has to do with unveiling, accepting, revealing, speaking, knowing, whatever, the truth. Okay, this is about the truth right now. And that's what I feel like Sunday is. So it's like if there's something, and I feel, with the moon in Taurus, sextiling Neptune and the nodes, and, us really bringing in, us coming to that emotional understanding of, our soul, what are this new reality that we're building, and our soul's direction and our soul's purpose, and really getting that in emotionally. I feel like this Mars opposite Jupiter, it's kind of realizing, yes, this is my truth. Okay, this is the truth. And anything that doesn't align with that, it has to start to, we need to start seeing things, and getting the perspective for how to deal with it. Okay, it's really this alignment, because the moon is really steeped in our soul truth. It's steeped in the truth of our past. Okay. I also feel like that could also be, past truths coming out, because I was saying, it's we've been looking under the surface and seeing the lessons, for what they were, seeing the lessons for what they've given us. And I feel as though seeing the truth in those things, seeing the truth in the lessons. Jupiter is a teacher. Jupiter is about lessons, and it's about the lessons that you experience, okay, directly. Like I said, I always say Saturn teaches you through withholding. Jupiter teaches you through experiencing, okay? And I feel like it's the truth in your experience, okay? The truth in your experience and how that has aligned you in a new way, okay? But like I said, it could also involve, with that opposition, it could also involve taking some kind of action to get to the truth, speak the truth, see the truth, know the truth, whatever. But that just keeps, they keep telling me it's truth, truth, truth. I'm I'm actually getting sick of saying it, but truth on Sunday, okay? Monday, the 6th, we have, the moon will be moving into Gemini, okay? And when the moon moves into Gemini, it's going to square Lilith in Pisces, okay? And this really, really, I think this is why, because it's Lilith talking. Lilith is truth, 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 because that's what Lilith is about. Lilith don't fuck with lies, okay? Because that's Lilith's thing. There have been lies against, Lilith represents the lies against our truth. Okay, that's what Lilith represents, the lies against our own truth. Okay, whatever that truth might be for you. Okay, it's the lie that comes against that. Okay, and shames it and puts it down and negates it. Okay, Lilith does not fuck with that. All right, and when the moon moves into Gemini, okay, the moon in Gemini is now it's our emotional intelligence. Okay, so this is it's how our emotions think. This is emotional analyzing. Okay, this is where you go through your emotions, and you're back and forth with them. You're thinking about them. Your emotions, your feelings come up as thoughts. Okay, when your moon is in Gemini. Okay, it kind of bypasses that whole feeling thing, that goes directly to your mind. But when the moon is in Gemini and squares Lilith in Pisces, Lilith in Pisces is talking about the truth of our souls right now. Okay, that's what Lilith in Pisces is really going for. So it was the truth of our vision before, and the truth of who it is that we really want to be with, and how we want to connect with people, and what it is that we want, what we see for ourselves, the truth of our vision for ourselves. That was Lilith in Aquarius. And like I said, Lilith on that 29th degree, up until the new moon on Saturday, tomorrow, because I'm kind of speaking in lots of different tenses right here. But basically Lilith, like I said before, on that 29th degree of of Aquarius, was breaking down the old framework. Breaking down the old framework and building up the new the new true framework. Okay. And I feel like when the moon in Gemini squares Lilith in Pisces at 0 degrees, this is when we know our emotional truth in our heart and in our minds. Okay? This is us knowing the truth of our souls on a mental level. Okay? In our minds, and it could not be pleasant. Okay? It's a square. All right? So like I was saying before, Sunday just felt like truth, like something's coming up. All right. And they're really like kind of driving that home. But I feel like Monday, whatever Sunday brought up, Monday means that you need to take action. Okay. It's a catalyst. All right, squares are catalyzing aspects. It's friction. It can be frictional. Whatever it is, it's catalyzing in the sense that it wants you to do something. Okay, it wants you to take action. That's what squares want you to do. They want you to take action. So depending on where you are, depending on what the truth is for you, depending on whether you have to speak it, name it, whatever, what's happening is that it could be frictional. It could be something that you thought was a truth in your soul, or you get information that hurts your soul. I mean, whatever, I don't know, but whatever it is, you need to move now. Okay, this is us. We need to align ourselves, our minds, okay, because we can have a truth in our soul. Okay, we can have a truth in our soul, we can have an emotional truth, we can have several different truths that we play out. Okay? But the thing is that we can't, now that we've come into the space of co-creation and we've been reborn, and now our new reality is being born. And I was saying before, everything that comes from the heart, okay, we have to align all the truths right now. Okay, because that is what is going to populate our landscape. Okay, that's what's going to feed what's growing. That's what's going to determine what gets grown, okay, is what's in our hearts. Okay, so this is really aligning ourselves with truth. This is aligning. It's another turn of this pour spout. It's another turn towards the pour spout. Okay, and things will pour when in their divine timing, but right now this is about truth. Okay, Lilith wants us to know a truth about something in our souls. Okay? Or maybe a truth about something in somebody else's soul. I don't know, but Lilith wants us to know a truth. Okay? She wants us to know a truth. And that moon in Gemini, like I said, that once we get that truth on that soul level, we will understand, we'll be able to feel it viscerally, emotionally, and mentally. Okay? So it's going to kind of hit us on all levels. All right? Whatever this truth is that we need to discover. Okay, the moon in Gemini is then going to sextile Chiron in Aries. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. This might hurt. It might hurt. Okay, it might hurt. Whatever this truth might be, it really might hurt because it's Chiron. Okay, and Chiron, we have to feel the pain of the wound before we can transcend the wound. So I'm saying this might be something that can bring up a bit of emotion and a bit of just, not great feelings. Okay, but it's for our benefit, it's for our healing. Okay, and any truth is for healing. Okay, truth can only bring healing. All right, so that's why I just want to say that's why I was saying that moon square Lilith in Pisces may not feel great. Okay, because like I said, it's a sextile to Chiron is involved in that as well after the fact. So there's something that we need to change based on this truth. There's something that we need to heal. Okay, there's something that we need to heal based on this truth. All right, and we need to take action to heal it. Okay, because Chiron in Aries means that we need to take action to heal. It's the act of transcending our wounds, okay? The act of healing, all right? And that's what that means. It's like we have to take action to heal this wound. Okay, we have to take action to heal and bring in the truth. All right, and align with it. All right, and then Mercury is going to move into Taurus. Okay, now when Mercury moves into Taurus, our mental processes change. Okay, now Mercury, we've had like some really quick thinking, and, we really want to act, but I feel like we've been really thinking, it's been more about decision making than anything else. It hasn't been a lot about like, oh yeah, I'm going to say this thing, I'm going to do this thing, and blah, 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 blah. And, on some level, yes, but like I said, it hasn't felt particularly, as intense as Mercury in Aries can get, okay, because it can get pretty intense, because it's just like kind of like no filter, things get said, and it's like whatever pops into your mind comes out of your mouth, okay? I feel like because Mars has been in Gemini, and like I said before, they have this mutual reception, which is like this telepathic connection. It's like Mars, believe it or not, has actually like all the information. Mars is actually like kind of strategizing in Gemini and like, okay, what's the best way for like out of all these options, like what's the best thing to do? And Mars is like, oh, Mercury, don't say that, like, don't say that. I know it just came into your mind, but let's just not say that. Let's do something else. So I feel like Mars has been making a lot of decisions. So I feel like Mercury in Aries was a lot more thoughtful. I will put it this way, a lot more thoughtful about what it said. Well, now Mercury is going to move into Taurus, okay? And Mercury in Taurus is actually very thoughtful. It's a harder placement for Mercury because Mercury likes to move quickly and Taurus is not fast energy. But the saving grace for Mercury and Taurus is that Mercury also rules Virgo. So it's not, and Virgo and Taurus are earth signs or like sister signs. So Mercury can get down in Taurus. Okay, it's just super methodical, okay, and just very, very thoughtful. Okay, Mercury in Taurus really thinks before they speak. Okay, they think before they act. What they say, they like the things that they say to have meaning. Okay, and not just be rambling off at the mouth because they thought about it, or because they know something or whatever. Like they're very thoughtful. Okay, so I feel like this is a time for us to kind of pull our minds in, okay, and really align them, okay, with what's coming up, with this new reality, okay, because like I was saying before, Mercury, when we were in blueprint season and dream season, like Mercury has been holding this concept, okay, of what it is that we want to be building. Okay, and now Mercury gets into Taurus and it's not all go, 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 go. Okay, it's not all go, 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 go. It's let's take a minute, let's breathe. Okay, let's survey our surroundings and let's choose the best, most thoughtful course of action that's going to build the strongest foundation, that's going to grow the strongest plant, produce whatever metaphor you want to use for what's growing, what's going to grow our new reality the best. That's what Taurus wants to know. And it's going to do those things. Okay. And so that's bringing our concept, like what it is that we want to be growing in this reality. It's really bringing it up into our minds, and like we're seeing it and we're understanding it and we're like, oh, okay. It's kind of like orienting our minds to the next steps. Okay, really orienting our minds to the next steps. And as this is happening on the same day that the moon squares Lilith and sextiles Chiron, it could be kind of like, in a sense, sort of like a change. Whatever this truth is, Okay, whatever this truth is, it's infusing this into this new reality. It's going to alter. I shouldn't say alter, because it's really more like it's going to alter what you thought about this reality, is what I'm trying to say. It's not necessarily altering the reality, because whatever this new truth is, if it's not coming in, if it's not, the truth is aligned to the reality already. All right, so us not seeing whatever this truth was means it is purely aligned with the old lesson, which is already kind of leaving. Okay, so it's like seeing a truth about this old lesson, seeing a truth about something from the past, seeing the truth about the foundations of something, that is going to cause us to alter our perception, alter our concept of reality. Okay, and for some of us, this could be really painful and shattering. And for others of us, it could just be like, oh, it could be like literally seeing something about yourself that you're like, oh shit, that's amazing. And it causes you to alter your perception of your reality in a really good way. Okay, so it could play out a lot of different ways. I don't know how it's going to play out, but it really is something about a truth coming up, a truth coming out, a truth about where we've been, a truth about, how we got here, a truth about our lessons, like something foundational and that speaks to our soul. We're getting information, and like I said, it's going to alter our concept of this reality that's coming up. Okay, alter our concept of our reality. And also on Monday, Venus. Okay, Venus has been rather quiet. Well, for you guys, but Venus has been lighting up my south node. But Venus in Aries is going to square the nodes of evolution. Okay, and Venus is our heart. Okay, Venus is our heart. Venus is what we resonate, what we attract to us. Okay, so we've been, like I said, last month, we did a lot of work with clearing up our resonance, okay, clearing up so that we can attract what it is that our souls truly desire, okay, and in Aries, Venus has been figuring out how to get what it is that she wants. How do we get what we want? Okay, how do we get what we want? That's what Venus in Aries has been trying to figure out, okay? How do we go after what it is that we want? And we haven't really had a lot of space to go after things because everything's been shifting, okay? So we've just been kind of like in this holding pattern, like I said, waiting to go from sprinkle to pour. And it's, Venus is a little frustrated, okay, because Venus in Aries just wants to go after what it wants, period. That's it. Venus wants to go after what it wants in Aries. And now that we know what we resonate, it's like, yes, I want to do this. But squaring the nodes of evolution, this is a choice point. Okay, Venus square the nodes of evolution is a choice point. All right, and we have the choice of operating from the south node, okay, going back towards the south node, which means that we would revert back to potentially some old behaviors, old responses, old reactions, okay, or the north node, which is pulling us toward a new evolutionary concept of home. Okay, so what I feel like this is, because the nodes of the moon are actually triggering Venus. Okay, Venus is like the midpoint, and it's like the nodes of the moon are triggering Venus. So it's like, how do you want to go about this? And I feel like this has a lot to do with the truth that we're going to come, the truth that we learn that alters our perception of our reality, and now we have to make a choice. Okay, we have to make a choice on what to do. Okay, that's what I feel like this is. This is like very, very clear in my mind. This is like really, there's something here. So it's like we're going to find out a truth. It's going to alter our perception of reality. And we have to make a choice. Okay? We have to make a choice to move forward towards home in ourselves, towards what's secure in ourselves, towards what it is that feeds us and nourishes us and nurtures us, or we're going to kind of deny the truth and stay disempowered in the South Node. Okay, but it's like these two seemingly warring factions are at Venus. Okay, and Venus's job right now is what resonates in your heart. Okay, that's the direction you go in. What resonates in your heart. All right, and what resonates in your heart. And I always say, when you have like these squares, because it's a T-square, okay, the point that's opposite Venus in this T-square is Libra. So we're looking for what resonates, what's reciprocal. Okay, what resonates, what feeds us, what when we fill it up, it fills us up right back. We're looking for that reciprocity. Okay? That reciprocity is going to lead us towards our evolution, which is home and security and nurturing, and it's our sense of home. It's what we're building. Okay, we're looking for that. All right, it's almost like the reciprocity of Venus is confirming what we already know we're resonating towards. Okay, and the really beautiful thing about that is that when you go to the North Node, it immediately brings you back to the South Node. Okay, it brings you back to the South Node. So when we go to the South Node without exploring the North Node, without doing the North Node, we continue in the same loop. We continue in the same pattern. Okay, when we go towards the North Node, even though that might feel harder, it's a harder choice to make. Okay, and this is what I'm saying. This could be like, we got to make some choices based on truth right now. Okay, making choices based on truth and this new perception of our reality, because I think we just really got a new perception of reality. All right, and that truth is making us have to choose our direction, choose our destiny, choose what's really resonant. We can't lie about it anymore. Okay, so I feel like this is one of those choice points, okay, where, and this has been happening with all the planets as they move through Aries. It's like these choice points as they square the nodes. Like, are you going to go towards what's resonant, or are you not? Are you going to go towards what's reciprocal? Because if you have any choice of what resonates with you, like if you have any doubt of what resonates with you, even if the North Node is scary, it's like, look at what's reciprocal. All right, look at what doesn't take you out of your power. Okay, because that's what the South Node, those old lessons are. That's a loop of powerlessness over and over and over. It's the powerlessness loop over and over and over again, and it's like, you can't do that anymore. Okay, we can't do that anymore. So if you go towards the North Node, okay, looking for what's reciprocal, looking for what nurtures you, you nurture it. It gives you security, you give it security. It's home to you. They're like it, it's home to you, you're home to it, whatever. And it brings you back to a place of empowerment. Okay, it brings you back to a place of empowerment, and then you will continue to resonate empowerment. Okay, instead of disempowerment, being caught in the loop. Okay, so what we want to do, no matter what that truth is that we learn on Monday, okay, go towards what's reciprocal, go towards what's home, okay, go towards what feeds you, go towards what nurtures you, go towards what holds you, okay, and gives you a sense of being empowered. Go in that direction, okay, that's where we're going, and it will immediately pull you up to an empowered place on the South Node. Okay, and this will be your new residence. This will be your new resonance. All right, so Monday can be a bit of a hard day, everybody. I'm just kind of letting you know. Okay, but this is like that last clearing of, I think, old shit that needs to be cleared, and, or, that's what I feel it is. I feel like it's old shit that needs to be cleared and healed. All right, and know that when you go towards the North Node, it's healing. It's healing. This is all to go towards healing. Okay. Tuesday, the 7th, Moon's still in Gemini, is going to square Neptune. Okay, so Moon in Gemini is, we're in our feelings. Okay, Monday was a hard day. All right, and we're processing our emotions. Like, we are processing our emotions with the Moon in Gemini, and then it's going to meet Neptune in a frictional, catalyzing aspect. Okay, and I feel like we're already kind of in friction, so it's like, this is really just you processing whatever this truth was that we learned on Monday or Sunday, because this has been truth. Whatever this was, I feel like now it's kind of like we're going through maybe where we deluded ourselves. And I don't think that this is a bad thing. It might be a little painful, but it's like us going over where we may have deluded ourselves and understanding it. Really understanding it and really owning it. Owning what we thought to be true. And where it got us and the lessons that we learned from it and all that good stuff. But it's because that's the way to healing. It's like we have to own this. Okay, and like I said, it doesn't have to be bad. I'm just feeling that, for some of us, it might be something kind of heavy. But for others of us, it really might just be like, damn, how did I think that? Oh, okay, well, let me change. It's really like, it's us being in, like, processing how we feel, processing this new truth, processing this new perception of our reality, and stacking it up against what we thought was reality before. Okay, and understanding how the two don't jive. That's what that Moon in Gemini square Neptune in Pisces. It's like really stacking up our old version of reality versus our new version of reality and processing that. Okay, because the new reality is coming into being. We need to process how we feel about this. We do. Like I said, even if it's not a hard, heavy energy, whatever that truth is maybe just be the truth that this shit's happening. And it's like, oh shit, like the thing that I thought was never going to happen is finally happening. And I gotta get ready for that. Like, that's an altering of your reality. Like, all this time you've been putting in all this work and having faith, and now the shit's starting to show up. Like, that's intense. So it might not be that there's like anything terrible. It might be like, oh shit, this is really coming. This is true. Let me like get my mind right. And that could also be, Monday and Tuesday as well. I just want to put that out there. Because they just told me to. And the Moon in Gemini is also going to sextile Venus. Okay, so this is us processing. Venus just made a big choice yesterday. Excuse me, not yesterday, Monday. Venus made a big choice the day prior. All right, so this is us processing that choice. Okay, processing that choice. Like, we are moving in a new direction. Right, we're moving in a new direction. And we have to process that choice. We have to process that choice. We have to process that new reality. Okay, we're just like, oh my gosh, like, because we have a lot of feelings about this. This is all about our feelings, but we need to get that clarity. Okay, and the Moon in Gemini is helping us to get that emotional clarity by helping us process out all of the feelings, all of the illusions, the choice we just made, everything that's happening. Okay. It's helping us to process it. So I feel like this is, us really, it's an opportunity for us to really align our minds with whatever choice Venus made the day before when it squared the nodes. Okay, when Venus squared the nodes, what decision did we make? What choice did we make? And it's like getting on board with that. It might even be making that final decision. Okay, Gemini is about decision, so it's about getting in your emotions, looking at, as the Moon is squaring Neptune, looking at what you thought was reality versus what is reality, okay, and making an informed decision based on that, coming up out of your emotional space and making a decision about which way to go based on that, okay, based on truth. All right, moon is then going to conjunct Mars. Okay, so when the moon conjuncts Mars, I think we're gonna do something. I feel like we're going to know the way forward. Okay, Mars, like I said, has not been taking a lot of action in Gemini. Okay, Mars has not been taking a lot of action in Gemini. Okay, and Mars has just been really chilling and examining all of the information and choosing the right course of action. All the time. That's what Mars has been doing, gathering all the information, choosing the action. And I feel like now that the moon is processing, what's happening, we're processing all of our emotions around whatever it is that we learned over the weekend, okay? And our new version of reality and everything that's happening, we're going to align our emotional processing and our action. And it's going to tell Mars exactly what to do, what needs to happen. Okay, Mars is getting more and more and more and more information about what needs to happen. And it might be that we need to have a really emotional conversation. We might need to act on our choice. Okay, we might need to act on our choice that Venus made. We might need to actually take that active action. Okay, now that we understand our process better and we understand where it is that we're going and why we're going there and what was behind everything that we thought was real and all that stuff, it's like really, it's turning more towards that pour spout. Okay, and then the moon is going to oppose Jupiter. Okay, so the moon's going to oppose Jupiter and actually probably oppose Jupiter before it gets to Mars, but I wrote it weird. Anyway, the moon's also going to oppose Jupiter that day. And when the moon opposes Jupiter, it's like all of this processing, okay? And like I said, Jupiter is about faith, and Jupiter is about like the truth that you can't shake, okay? It's about the truth you can't fucking shake, all right? And it's like, I feel like all the processing, all the disillusionment, all of the altering reality, it's kind of like Jupiter is up there in Sag saying, okay, like, yes, that is the truth, but what is the truth within you? You are processing, I got you. Okay, I got you. What you see now is the truth. Let it lift you up. Let it raise you higher. Have faith. Okay, have faith in where you're about to go. Okay, have faith in where you're about to go. I know this might look scary. I know this might look crazy. And you're going through it. Even if it's heavy or if it's like really light and exciting. However it plays out for you, this is Jupiter reminding you to hold your faith. Okay, hold your faith. Stay steady and remain in truth. Look at the higher truth, the higher perspective of truth. Really, it's kind of like pulling you out of your own head and telling you to look up with different eyes and see the whole bigger picture. That's what it is. It's look up and see the bigger picture. Okay? It's like all laid out for you because we're processing old reality, new reality, truth and things that we didn't think were going to happen and all this other stuff. And it's like, now look at the bigger picture and see how this fits. See how you fit. See how, like I said, see how this lesson worked to get you here. Look at everything from that higher perspective and your faith will be restored. If you lost faith, it will be restored. If you are getting your faith back, okay, and you're really like feeling what's happening, then it's going to give you even more faith. Okay, this is about looking at the bigger picture and getting faith. Okay, so then Venus is going to square Saturn. Okay, so like Tuesdays are hard. Monday and Tuesday, I feel like Saturday is kind of like our easiest day yet. Okay, I feel like Saturday is the easiest day yet. And then I feel like Sunday and Monday and Tuesday, probably Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday too, are not going to be, they can be some harder days. They can be really, I feel like they're just exciting. Like there's a lot of energy. And depending on how much you've let go of already, depending on where you are, depending on how much an illusion you choose to be or not to be, okay, this is going to, that's how things are going to kind of play out. Okay, so try and make it easier on yourselves and just remain open, okay? But Venus squaring Saturn. Okay, Venus just made this decision to go in a new direction. Okay, and we are processing that decision and we are having faith in this decision. Like we're learning, we're coming to grips with this decision that we've made. Okay, and Venus squaring Saturn, this decision is going to change the structure of things. Okay, it's going to change the structure of things. It's going to change how we operate. Okay, and like I said, Saturn, I said this before, Saturn is asking us to author our lives. Okay, Saturn's the authority. Okay, Venus choosing this new direction is putting us in a place of power. And even though it is frictional, it is catalyzing our empowerment. Okay, we just catalyzed our empowerment and it's changing the very foundations that we are building everything on. Okay, as soon as we realize, like I said, whether it's heavy or whether it's exciting, okay, we're embarking on a new path. We're embarking on a new journey. And this is literally bringing us this Venus square Saturn. It's like Venus in Aries is like, I know what I want and I've chosen my direction. I know how I'm going to get what I want. Okay, I know how I'm going to get what I want. It is this way. Okay, and Venus squaring Saturn is quite literally like, okay, you are pulling away from this kind of like, because hopefully your Venus chose to go down the North Node route, okay? But I'm assuming that we all have chosen to go toward reciprocity and home, all right? So that's my assumption, so I'm going to go on that storyline. This is as you've chosen to go that route, and this is you coming back up the other side, all right? And Saturn is giving you the pen. What are you going to write? All right? You're now resonating from this empowered heart space. We begin to write the story. We begin to lay the new foundation for home, for reciprocity, for what feeds us, for what nurtures us, and we're leaving the lie and the old story and lesson behind. Okay, so this is us going towards that North Node and popping up on the other side and saying like, oh, okay, and it could feel a little heavy. Okay, it could feel a little heavy. Like Saturn sometimes has a heavy touch, even when it's trying to be light. Okay, but it's like here's your power to author this. Here's your power to author your life. Okay, that's what I feel like that Venus square Saturn is. Okay, and it's us understanding that we have the capacity to do that. Okay, don't doubt yourself. It might feel really crazy because we just made all these decisions and we're going in a completely new direction and stuff is starting to pop up and grow and we're like, oh shit, new reality and old reality and disillusionment, faith and big picture, but it's all for our good. And Saturn's like, how do you want to do this? How do you want this foundation to be laid? What story do you want to tell? You're writing your new story now. Okay. And then Wednesday the 8th, the moon in Gemini is going to move into Cancer. Okay, so as the moon moves into Cancer, it shifts modes. Okay, and as it shifts modes, the moon in Cancer is like looking for that emotional security, emotional sustenance, looking for home. We are emotionally attuned to home in Cancer. Okay, we're emotionally attuned to home when the moon is in Cancer. Okay, and so that's going to pull us out of our mental space and back down into the emotions. Okay, and we're going to kind of come down and get out of that processing mind and get more into our feelings again. Okay, and we're going to really, I feel like, coming off of all of the truth and all of, the bigger picture and everything and the disillusionment and, old reality, new reality that the moon was doing in Gemini, I feel like this could kind of be a bomb, like a little bit of a bomb, just to come up out of that processing space and let ourselves come down into feeling. Okay, and it could be that we're feeling rather exhausted. We could be feeling really excited. We could be feeling scared. Whatever that is, if we remember our emotions are attuned to home, okay, we're going to need some comfort. Okay, that's what I'm feeling for Wednesday. We might need some emotional comfort, so go find your people. Okay, go find your people on Wednesday, whoever they are. Okay, if you don't have family, find the people that you made your family. Like, go pet a dog, go to the kitty cafe, like whatever you got to do, but go get yourself some love. Okay, make yourself a meal, draw yourself a bath. But I feel like we're all going to need, like I said, even if what happened the last few days before weren't heavy, do something to put yourself back in your body, back in your feelings. Get out of your head. Okay, give yourself something to relax. Come home to yourself. Okay, it's been a lot of activity. And when the moon gets into Cancer, it's going to sextile Mercury in Taurus. Okay, and Mercury in Taurus, like I said, is like, it's us really, really like the getting in our minds, like this concept, like understanding our reality. Okay, this is like new reality here, and Mercury is like, whoa, okay, how are we going to do this? How are we going to operate? How are we going to bring this new reality into being? Okay, Mercury wants to know, what are we doing? All right, and so I feel like it's an opportunity for us to, and this is what I was saying, like, find your people, find home. Okay, because when Mercury sextiles the moon in Cancer, it's really like an opportunity to have some thoughtful conversations. Okay, some really grounding conversations. That's what I was saying, put yourself back in your body. Okay, pull your thoughts down. Okay, that's Mercury. Like I said, Mercury in Taurus is thoughtful. Okay, it's thoughtful communication. All right, Cancer's looking for a home. Like, we need to give ourselves a rest, bring ourselves back down, bring our minds out of the ether, bring our feelings out of the air, bring everything out of the air and put it back on solid ground. Okay, and I feel like this is like putting us back in our bodies. So be kind to yourselves, go talk to your people, have the conversations. You might need to now process in a very concrete way what needs to happen moving forward. Okay, now that you've processed with yourself or had hard conversations, like whatever that you need to process, like now this is like processing in a concrete way the way forward. Okay, and then the moon is going to also sextile Uranus. Okay, so as the moon sextiles Uranus, it's I want to say this. It's kind of like we're looking for home and we're having these thoughtful conversations, and that breaks new ground. Okay, that breaks new ground. It brings up another new level of this reality and liberates us from the old even further. Okay, so this I feel like is coming back into our bodies, really getting, having those thoughtful conversations, even if it's just with ourselves. Okay, but bringing ourselves back down and really thinking about the way forward from here will open up open our new reality even further. We're going to see more things start to grow. Okay, I feel like these are like growth. It's opportunities to grow more. It's opportunities to really make this reality, build something. Okay, it's really an opportunity to build something. All right? Build something that you want. Build something that's home. Okay, build something that's home with thought, with care, okay? And with the things and people that support you, okay, that nourish you. It's a time to pull that reality in, break ground on that reality, water those shoots. Okay? And the moon in Cancer is also going to trine Lilith. Okay, so the moon in Gemini squaring Lilith, tripped this whole process of almost, but really brought that process of truth home. Okay, and we spent the last few days really processing that. Okay, and now this is, as the moon is sextiling Mercury and Uranus and trining Lilith, okay, this is that truth that feeds your soul, okay? This is that truth that feeds your soul. This is the truth that you want to be in your reality, all right? It's the truth that you want in your reality, all right? This is why I said come down, find your people, have the conversations, because this truth is going to be what you want. This is what you want. Okay, I think we found out some truths. Maybe, like I said, for some of us, it's finding out the truths that we don't want, we didn't want to know, and now this is coming round and just being okay, the way forward from here, this is the truth. This is the truth of my soul. This is what feeds me. This is what I know that I want. These are my people. These are my things. This is what brings me nourishment and nurturing and happiness. Okay, and makes me feel secure. All right, and that's what I'm saying. Come back down into your body. Okay, because that trine will really, it'll help pull you forward and pull you into this new reality and further and further away from the old. Okay, and the moon is also going to square Chiron. Okay, so like I said, we might be having these thoughtful, meaningful conversations, and I feel like the square is, I don't know. I feel like we're going to be feeling some things, really feeling things, but at the same time, understanding how we can transcend. Okay, how we can transcend, because I feel like that's with the sextile, this is kind of it's kind of part 2 of what played out on Wednesday. Okay, so I feel like Wednesday kind of blew everything up, and Wednesday is actually how do we deal with it? Where do we go from here? What's the path to healing? Let's start on it. Okay, and Mercury is also going to conjunct Uranus on Wednesday. Okay, so it could be having that thoughtful conversation that really opens up your perception of your reality, opens up completely the doors to this new reality where we were kind of we just kind of got in on Saturday. It's oh, wow, and, as the moon starts to wax, we're getting more light. So I feel by Wednesday, we're starting to get that light of the moon back and we can see a little better. Okay, the lights are coming back on. And Mercury conjunct Uranus, I think it's those, it's that aha moment of this is the way. Okay? Like I said, Uranus is breaking ground in Taurus on this whole shebang with holding that vision. Okay, Mercury's got this concept and they come together and it's like, this is the way forward. Okay, this is the way forward. This is the reality I want to cultivate. Okay, and that's what I feel for Wednesday. It's really coming down, finding your security, finding your footing, finding your people, finding your whatever you need, your food, your blankie, whatever it is, but finding that and really coming to like fusing that concept of what you want with the vision. Now that we have the truth and we have the clarity and we know the direction, this is how we're doing it, and it's thoughtful and it's methodical, and we're tending now to what it is that we want. Okay, we're letting it grow. We understand it now. Okay, we understand a whole lot of things now. All right, we understand a whole lot of things. Thursday, the 9th, moon is still in Cancer, and the moon's going to try Neptune. Okay, so after coming off of, Wednesday's aspects of, really getting into, coming back into the body and finding your security again, finding your nurturing, getting your footing, okay, getting that emotional stability and everything back, and attuning to home. Like I said, it's also attunement to home. Moon's going to try Neptune. Okay, and that's another meeting with the soul. Okay, so this is more soul attunement, more soul alignment. Okay, like we just went through a big revelation of things, whether hard or not so hard, earlier in the week, and now towards the end of the week, it's like more balm. Okay, this is the direction that your soul wants to go in. Okay, maybe this was part of the new reality that you couldn't see, you couldn't conceive of. You couldn't see how this was going to happen. So like every time we met with Neptune before, we weren't ready to take this bit of information in, and now we're getting more soul information based on the events of the last few days. Okay, so we're getting more information about our soul's journey and our soul's purpose, and how this fits into this new reality, how this fits into our concept of home. All right, how does this fit into our soul's concept of home, our soul's security, our soul's journey? Okay, how does that fit? And Moon in Cancer is also going to conjunct the North Node. Okay, so, and that's pretty much kind of like a simultaneous aspect, because the moon's going to conjunct Neptune, and the North Node is like, not conjunct, but trine Neptune. And while it's doing that, the moon is going to be like right next to the North Node by a degree. So it's really, like I said, attuning to home in our emotional space. But then with the moon being conjunct the North Node, this is the way. Okay. And our soul is affirming this with the trine to Neptune. This is the way home. This is the way home to yourself. This is the way that you build home. This is the way you make home a reality. This is the way. Okay, so Thursday, we're going to be really shown the way. All right, after all the turmoil of the beginning of the week, we're going to be shown the way forward. Okay, the way to home, the way that we feel secure. Okay, the way we feel held, the way we feel nurtured. All right. The moon is also going to oppose the South Node and Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn. All right. So when that happens, we've been shown the way, and it's like we're kind of looking. We've been shown the way through the North Node and Neptune. We're looking at where we need to go, okay? And we're kind of disillusioned by our past, so we're kind of not really wanting to go there, okay? We're kind of looking across at it like, you know what? I think it's a moment of like emotional understanding, I feel like it's coming to an understanding of our past, our emotional past, and how we allowed certain things, how we got disillusioned, okay, what we thought was going on that wasn't going on. I think it's just coming to terms with all of that and accepting the way forward. That's what those aspects feel like to me. And as we step forward emotionally, we become empowered to keep moving. Okay, because we have that understanding and we're looking across the way like oh wow, I remember that, and that wasn't cool. I see why this happened. I see how I was. I see, like, you're looking across the way, from this place, like, it's like going through this really hard, traumatic thing and having someone come and like rescue you and like wrap you in a blanket, and then you're kind of looking from a safe space at what you were just in, and you're like, oh my God, how the fuck did I get through that? I don't want to do that anymore. I'm gonna go this way. I'm gonna stay here and move from this point. I'm not going back there. Okay? And knowing that as you move further on in your new direction, one day you will be able to stand up. You'll be able to revisit that, and it won't bother you anymore because you'll be different. Okay? You won't even care. All right? It'll be like, oh yeah, I've grown past this. What I thought was so traumatic and hard and heavy, like eventually, this is with time. I'm not saying like it'll happen the day after, but I'm saying over time, as you grow and mature into this North Node energy, whatever you were in that you're looking at now, like, what the fuck? It's not gonna matter eventually. Okay? And you're gonna be able to look at it and just be like, wow, look how that, wow. Just wow. Okay. All right. I'm so much bigger than this. And the moon's also going to square Venus. Okay. So when the moon squares Venus, I just feel like I don't think it's going to be super frictional unless, it could be frictional in the sense that like, whatever we're letting go of, whatever is no longer resonant, it's like that kind of bittersweet, like, oh, I don't want that anymore. That kind of thing. I don't want that anymore. I thought I wanted it and I don't. And that can't be part of my new reality. That might be the square, or it might be, like I said, if we're in a different place of like something more exciting and not as heavy happening, it could be like, oh, like, this like a catalyzing thing. Oh, I thought I wanted that, but I think I like this over here. Like, this feels better, but it's like where you kind of realize that you have options. You have options. So there's a few different ways, like I said, that this could play out, but I feel like there is a definite heavier energy and a lighter energy surrounding this week, depending on where you are in your work and growth and journey. Sun is going to sextile Neptune. So Sun in Taurus has, not really been doing a lot since the new moon on Saturday. But sun's going to sextile Neptune, and that's an opportunity for us to align like the consciousness of this reality, like align our consciousness of this new reality that we are now beginning to stand in and create. Okay, because it's coming. Align that with our soul's purpose. Okay, so this is another alignment. It's another opportunity to get inspired, to get creative about how we are bringing this reality in, how we're calling it in. Okay, that's that Sun sextile Neptune in Taurus. And Venus is also going to be squaring Pluto. Okay, and that's going to be into Friday. So Venus square Pluto, this is another aspect that probably won't feel very good. But depending on where you are, it could feel rather, it could be, like I said, us, like just kind of when Venus squared Saturn, it's like we chose to go towards the North Node. Okay, and Venus made that choice. Okay, Venus made the choice to go towards the North Node. So I feel like, and especially with all of, the upheaval of the beginning of the week and the excitement and, possible turmoil depending on your situation, it's like now we've oriented ourselves towards home. We know what that is. Venus has made that choice already. And I feel like we've done some more growth and we've really oriented ourselves, especially with the moon, coming in and being in Cancer and opposing everything and just kind of like looking back like, I don't want that anymore. Like I see it, and then squaring Venus and being like, I don't want that. Okay. And we like the moon making that choice from right next to the North Node conjunct it and calling in that soul path. It's like we are like funneled directly into our path to evolution. That's our new reality. And I feel like when Venus then squares Pluto that same day and into Friday, it's really aligning ourselves with this new resonance of empowerment. Okay, it could feel not so great just if you manage to get through the week unscathed, or if you're trying to crawl back up in the South Node's asshole, like it could not feel great. Okay, but if you've been doing this work, I feel like it's us getting that resonance of empowerment back. Okay, we're no longer going to resonate as disempowered and keep attracting things that keep us disempowered. We are attracting empowerment. We are attracting home. This is, and Pluto is giving that empowerment back. That's our resonance. So when Venus squared Saturn a few days before, it was literally, how do you want to write your story? Okay, you've made the choice to go towards home. How do you write your story from here? What reality do you want to create? Okay, and now this is Pluto being like, and now you resonate with empowerment. You stand in your empowerment. You attract what empowers you. And that's how I feel that Venus square Pluto on Thursday and Friday could play out. Then Venus is also going to trine Jupiter. Okay, and that's a simultaneous thing. Okay, because Jupiter and Pluto are both at 23 degrees at this point still, but Jupiter was about to move off, so could be. But they're basically within, if they're not exact, they're within a degree. And Venus trining Jupiter, that's that fire, that's that faith, that's us coming into our own. Okay, that Jupiter in Sag is, like I said, it's your higher self. It's that higher, bigger perspective. Okay, so I feel like as Venus is trining Jupiter and squaring Saturn, that's us resonating with that empowered, higher self. We are attracting from our highest good. We are attracting from our highest, just from our highest self. And our highest self is empowered. Okay, so that's what I feel like that aspect is, or those aspects are, excuse me. Venus square Pluto and trine Jupiter is us coming into our power of resonance. We are resonating differently. We are attracting differently. We no longer want what we once did because we see through it now. We see what it did to us. We see how it disempowered us. We see how it kept us small. We see how it was not reciprocal, okay? And we see that we could not possibly take it into this new reality with us. We see that it was a lesson that our souls had to learn. Okay, and now we resonate differently because of that lesson. Okay, and the sun begins to square. Oh, excuse me. Oh, no, sorry. That was something that I wrote down and didn't erase. Anyway, don't worry about that. And then on Friday, the 10th, the moon in Cancer is going to move into Leo. Okay, and when the moon moves into Leo, we wanna get our emotional expression on. We wanna like emote. We wanna tell people how we feel. We wanna like write it, dance it, act it, whatever. Like we're very expressive, okay, of how we feel. We express our feelings, okay? And So the moon in Leo, where we're going to want to be expressing things, is going to square Uranus and Mercury on Friday. Okay, so Mercury's still within orb, but moving away from Uranus, so it's going to hit Uranus first. And this is like, I feel like after that emotion, like that empowerment that Venus is like, we're resonating with this empowerment and we're really understanding like home. This is kind of giving us that freedom that we never had before. You know, it's like that freedom to express ourselves and just like open our hearts. I feel like this is like, just open up emotionally. Okay, we're gonna be able to open up emotionally in ways that we never could before. Okay, because our expression was stunted because we were disempowered and we were, you know, like we were really living in something that wasn't healthy for us and keeping us small. Okay, so now that we're like this week of just shift and, you know, revelation and eye-opening, and like I said, whether it's easy or hard for you, you know, now we're coming into a new space of being able to express ourselves in a different way and express how we feel inside. Okay, how we feel inside. It's not always about like, you know, the moon is about feelings. So it's not just emotions, how we feel. Okay, so it's like, you feeling good? I'm going to express that. I'm feeling like shit. I'm going to express that too. It's giving us a new way to express ourselves. And I feel like this square is like this catalyst. I don't feel like it's necessarily like I don't feel like it's a frictional thing. It's a catalyzing thing that's going to really, because Uranus and Mercury are still in Taurus, and, you know, this is us seeing the way forward. This is seeing how in this new reality we get to express ourselves. Damn it. You know, like that's what this is. Like we just came through all of this and like we're realizing how big we are and how much we feel. How much we feel, because whatever we were in before, like based on that previous lesson, we weren't fully in our feelings. We weren't fully in our bodies to feel our feelings. This is like us feeling and embodying our full expression. That's what this is. That's Moon in Leo square Uranus and Mercury in Taurus. This is embodying our full expression, our full emotional capacity, our full feeling capacity, embodying it. And I mean, and it can keep growing. So it's like whatever it is right now, it's us embodying that. And that being our new reality. We can express how we feel because we know what home is. We know what's safe for us. We know that if we express how we feel, we are not going to be disempowered. We are not going to be taken advantage of. Okay, we're not going to be like, you know, mocked or ridiculed or whatever. We know the safe spaces and we feel stronger. We feel stronger. All right. And that is how I see, that's what I'm feeling from Moon in Leo square Uranus and Mercury in Taurus. Like really, really our new reality is that we express how we feel. We're not going to put a lid on that shit anymore. I mean, obviously within reason, but you know, we're giving ourselves permission to do that in this new stage, in this new phase of growth. All right. And the moon in Leo is also going to trine Chiron. Okay. So this trine to Chiron is the healing of not being able to express how we felt. Okay. Not being able to express ourselves. This is the healing. It's the healing that comes from seeding this into our new reality, from this catalyst of us realizing I can embody how I feel. I can embody myself through my feelings. Okay? All right. And that is the moon in Leo. And then we are going to have the sun is going to sextile the north node. Okay, so the sun's going to sextile the north node. So this is the sun in Taurus. In an opportunity aspect to the North Node. Okay, and this is that that conscious embodiment of our new reality. That's the sun in Taurus right now. It's the conscious embodiment of our new reality. Okay, that's coming up all around us. Okay, like we are, like the old reality is like really going down in a pile of flames. Okay, it's just like Uranus opened up the earth and that shit just fell. Okay, and right now, like the sun sextiling the North Node is really like it's asking us, it's reminding us like, hey, like you embodying this new reality is going to lead you home. It's an opportunity for, I don't know how this can play out for, for each one of us, it'll be different, but it's an opportunity for us as this, as this new reality is coming into being. It's an opportunity to connect even more, to really propel us forward. Okay, so I don't know what that's going to look like, but it's like more of an opportunity to secure this into reality, make it secure, make it real. Okay, because while the sun is sextiling the North Node for this opportunity to like pull us home and pull us towards evolution, it's trining the South Node. Okay, and that is that foundation. Okay, we're pulling in, like I said, we're pulling in the good from the South Node now. This is like that foundation. We're trining. It's not an opportunity, it's a flowing aspect. So the sun in Taurus is anchoring in to the earth, this embodied consciousness of reality that we now we're about to start working in this. Okay, this is kind of that pour spout. It's the pour spout moment. Okay, it's beginning to come in. We're funneling that in. Okay, and the sun is also going to trine Saturn. Okay, that's anchoring. That is anchoring all of this into reality. All right, so I feel like the beginning of next week, pretty much from Sunday through Thursday, might be a little prickly for some people, or really exciting, but I feel as though it's really this, it's the final curtain call for the old lesson. All right, we've been in this liminal space, and like I said, we're going from sprinkle to pour spout. Okay, and that pour spout is about ready to rain down on us. Okay, as we anchor, we're anchoring this new reality, and by the end of the week on Friday, it's really coming down, and this is staying with us. We're laying the foundations. Okay, and we're building our road. Okay, we're building the road to where we need to go. Okay, each step we take, another brick gets laid, and this is our road home. Okay, so as we build that foundation, it's an opportunity to build the road home, to make home reality. All right, and that concludes the Astro for the week. The tarot card for this week, which is really kind of funny, is not funny. It's actually really, really cool and amazing. It's the Three of Pentacles, or Three of Discs, depending. And like I tell you guys all the time, I read from the Thoth deck, so it's not the Rider Waite, but the imagery on this card, it's a triangle. It's an equilateral triangle that appears to be coming up out of like water or sand, but there's motion. Okay, there's motion, and at the end of each triangle, there is a wheel, okay, which would be symbolized by a pentacle. And there's a lot of other imagery to it, but pretty much what this card always means to me is it's manifestation. Okay, it's manifestation through cooperation. All right, it's how we, typically people like to read it as like it's your work, and it's, you answering to higher up, or it's collaboration. It's having all parts of you aligned. Okay, it's having all parts of you aligned, mind, body, soul, spirit, in order to manifest something. Because if any one part of you is off doing its own thing, believing in a truth that isn't aligned, okay, which is what happened at the beginning of the week, okay, you know, we had to align ourselves. There was still something that was like going on inside of us that we were holding on to that wasn't aligned with our truth. Okay? And when we're not aligned, we can't manifest fully. Okay? We can't manifest what we need. We can't manifest what we want because we're not aligned with spirit. We're not aligned with flow. Okay? So this card is about manifesting through the cooperation of all parts of ourselves, and also all parts of ourselves being one unit that co-creates in cooperation with Source. Okay, so this is the beginning of that process. The other thing that I saw about this, which is also really, really funny, is that this to me represents a grand earth trine. Okay, it's an equilateral triangle, and if you have a grand trine of any what am I trying to say? Any element, it makes a triangle. Okay, it makes an equilateral triangle. And since earth is the element of a pentacle, pentacles are earth, this is the grand earth trine. And this speaks to actually a lot of the aspects that are being made to Uranus this week. Okay, Uranus is on the 3rd degree of Taurus, and Uranus was on this degree last year. Okay, and Uranus was on this degree last year around the end of August. Okay, we had a grand earth trine. The sun was in Virgo. Uranus was in Taurus before going retrograde, and Saturn was at the beginning of Capricorn. Okay, and there was a grand earth trine. Something got seeded then. Okay, that because Uranus had to go retrograde, we had to go back through and reevaluate, redo, rethink, like really get our freedom, essentially. Okay, because we were still operating from a place of being bound in the lesson of Uranus in Aries, which was our liberating our individuality. Okay, so we came through that lesson, and now we're in a new place. So whatever it was that we seeded in August, we were not prepared to take on, because we still weren't coming from a place of individual empowerment. Okay, we were not looking at our reality in that way. Okay, Grand Earth Trine is about manifestation, bringing something into reality. We were not prepared to bring whatever it was that we seeded at the end of August, if you think back. And if you want to go one further, you can think back to kind of like early July with the Capricorn new moon that happened last July. There was a grand earth trine then. I can't remember if it was Mercury or Venus that was in the Virgo spot, but that also happened then as well. So something got seeded mid-July after the Capricorn new moon, and then grew and was further kind of like took a little bit of a root. Okay, took root at the end of August and has been like kind of chilling underground. So we're going to start to see that grow this week. Okay, so because we've now come into, we were waiting on our own individual empowerment. We were waiting for our own individual will to act for ourselves, act on our own behalf, to liberate ourselves. Okay, we needed some kind of individual liberation in order to pursue whatever it was that we seeded last summer. All right, so now it's coming to fruition, and that's this grand earth trine that's being tripped by Uranus coming back to that 3rd degree, and Mercury meeting there. Okay, it's tripping that again. Okay, so that's going to be coming up, and then we'll see what grows. So try and think back to last summer to some stuff that maybe that you really had on in your heart and that you really wanted to come to being, come to fruition, and it kind of got placed on the back burner. Know that you planted a seed, know that it took root, and know that you're about to start seeing some shoots pretty soon. So that concludes the astrology and the tarot for the week. I hope that this helps, and I hope that you find meaning and resonance and just some guidance for whatever your journey is. And I just wish you all a really lovely week. Hold steady, hold tight, remain in truth. Okay, stay in your truth, and you can't be swayed. I hope that this is an exciting and wonderful time for all of you, and for those of you who maybe are having a heavier time, know that my prayers and my heart is with you. And Spirit has you. Spirit has us all. Okay, we're going from sprinkle to pour this week, and this grand earth trine is coming into being. So know that whatever is leaving is for your highest good. It's for your highest healing, and it's what you were meant to manifest. So I love you all. Thank you so much for listening. If you want to know more about me or my work and would like to book a reading or a session, please visit my website, elementsandalchemy.com. You can also find me on Instagram at Elements and Alchemy. And if you are listening on iTunes or Stitcher or any of the other podcast playing places, please be sure to subscribe and leave a nice review. And I think that's about it. I love you all. Talk to you next week. Much love.